Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your valuable time in watching this presentation slideshow that I have prepared for you here at Ark Roofer. So Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you are about to see what to expect when we do a full roof replacement on your home. And so I'd like to kick it off with the first presentation slideshow. Here we go. Before the build, we have a prep checklist that we are going to do on our end, as well as a prep checklist that we are going to let you know that you need to do on your end as well. First things first, we've got to get in the attic, do a full attic inspection to see how it is currently breathing. We check the passive and active ventilation as well as the intake through the soffit vents to make sure everything is flowing and circulating properly in your attic. Next thing, we are going to look at the water heaters and the furnaces and make sure that no lines coming off of them are too close to the plywood so they don't get punctured by new nails. If you have gas pipes running from a furnace or a water heater, we're going to make sure that we document if they are installed properly and braced. If they are not braced, then we will take a photo of that just like this and show it to you so that you can call your HVAC company to come out and install the proper bracing so those pipes don't move around and get too close to the plywood, because that would be a fire hazard. Next thing we look at is any bath vents, kitchen vents, dryer vents that may be exhausting moisture out of your home through the actual roofing system and out of the house. We want to make sure those are properly connected so that you don't have moisture problems in your attic, which can and will create mold. So we're going to go ahead and document all of that as well, make sure it's all up to code. And in this photo, you're going to see light coming through the actual soffits, and that's a good thing. That means your attic is pulling in fresh air and is breathing properly. And also in this photo, you're going to see a refrigerant line that's pretty close to the plywood running down the exterior wall from the attic. We want to make sure that line is at least 2 inches away from the plywood so that when we install new nails through new shingles, it's not going to puncture that line. Next thing, we might find rotted wood. And if we find rotted wood like this, you can see here it's been dripping out. It's turning black, turning into some mold there. We want to make sure to notate that so that we will replace that piece of plywood once we tear off the entire roof and redo your roofing system. Okay? Next thing is, here's another refrigerant line, possibly a gas line, actually touching the underside of the plywood right under those shingles. So we want to make sure that we get this relocated or pushed away at least 2 inches off the roof so that we don't puncture it with new nails. So if we can, while we're there, we're going to go ahead and put some blocks in between so that it prevents anything from happening, because that would be a very expensive emergency fix if we were to puncture that line and you lose your air conditioning unit, and especially in the summer here in Texas. So we want to make sure to put blocks in there to prevent that from happening, because safety is a huge concern for us and a top priority here at Ark Roofer. All right, on our end still, we've got diagrams. Definitely make diagrams for every single job. This diagram is for the ventilation. This diagram is for the pool. And we want to make sure that we have zero excuses for anybody not understanding how we are going to install the new roofing system. We may make some changes and upgrade you to some nicer ventilation so that your energy costs get reduced. And this is one way we're going to actually revise your ventilation system from a diagram. And we also have separate diagrams for your gutters. If we're replacing all of the gutters or just partial, or we're adding new gutters, we want to make sure that everybody on our team is on the same page. If you've got a pool, we're going to make sure your pool gets covered for both processes and everything gets taken care of professionally. All right, now prep checklist for you, Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner. If you are going to have your materials dropped up on your roof and do your whole entire roof, and then when we're done cleaning up and there's nails all in your yard, especially in the springtime or the summertime when the grass is a little bit longer, we want to make sure that you mow your lawn. The shorter your grass is, the easier it is going to be for us to get our magnets through your grass and pick up all those little metal objects and nails. So go ahead and mow your grass before we actually start the build. Okay? Next thing, if you got these little solar landscape lights scattered around your bushes and around your house, it would be a good idea to start removing those solar lights and putting them in a safe place. They are pretty fragile. They do get knocked down sometimes. They're going to get covered with a tarp. There might be some shingles that lay on them, and I just don't want to take that risk in accidentally damaging or breaking one or more of your solar landscape lights, okay? Now, inside the home, some of your walls might have some slight vibration due to the construction on the roof. So if you've got something that's fragile, made out of glass, or something delicate or sentimental, and it's barely hanging on your wall, it may be a good idea to just take it down just in case, okay? So take down those little picture frames if they're barely hanging on the wall or anything else you feel might be of concern. All right, next step is the material delivery day. We're gonna talk about this. Once the materials get delivered, we're either gonna load them up on your roof or on the ground. And if we're gonna load them on the roof, you may see a big old truck like this with a 40-foot conveyor belt. And these are going to be loading the shingles up on the roof. Here's another photo of our one of our main trucks here, loading up shingles on the roof as well. Sometimes they actually load materials on the roof while we're actually removing the old roof, but typically we actually deliver the shingles before we actually start the roof. So we might deliver the shingles and then the next day we would actually start the roof. It just depends. So once the shingles are delivered on the roof, or we might actually deliver them on the driveway, you might have some trees that are blocking that big truck from entering and getting that thing loaded up on your roof, so we may have to drop them on the driveway. Once all materials are delivered, this is the time where we collect the first payment from you to Ark Roofer, just like we agreed upon in our agreement, saying the first check gets received after materials get delivered. All right. Now, we do have an online pay option through ACH, which is a free service that we offer for your convenience if you'd like to do so. All right, now entering into the build day, we're going to talk about how we protect the house, how we tear off the roof, and then how we perform a deck inspection. So here we go. So you're going to back out your brand new Tesla or whatever you drive out of your driveway, out of your garage. Our guys are going to arrive roughly around 7 a.m. in the morning. So make sure your cars are out of the garage and not trapped in there, and moved to the actual street. Park on the curb, park on the street, so that you can leave, come and go freely as we're doing work at your house. All right? Now, we're going to set up all of our gear. We may have a tent, especially if it's really hot outside, for the guys to put their coolers. We're going to have our trucks. We're going to have our trailers. We're going to have a big dump trailer, most likely right in front of your garage door on your driveway for most of the debris to be placed, okay? We are going to set up any nets that we see fit. If you've got a lot of plants like this lady and a lot of pots, this was one thing that she made us very clear that she really, really wanted to protect all her plants, so we made a special attempt to throw up this net around them. If you've got a pool, we're going to put a pool tarp over your entire pool and make sure no nails get in the water. Your air conditioning units have to be covered by something to where the AC units are still able to breathe and operate while you're in the house. It's okay, run your AC. We're going to protect them on the outside, and it's not going to be an issue. All right, here's some other photos showing bushes get covered, some of the garage door gets covered. We do it as best as we possibly can. There may be some tiny little plants here and there. They might get squished here and there. If we do damage a plant, just let us know. We will always make it right. Send us the receipt to get that plant replaced, and we'll go ahead and reimburse you. Not a problem at all. But just so you know, this is construction. Some things happen, and just know we always make it right. All right, here's another photo showing how the shingles look when they start coming off the roof. We do our best to put tarps and nets around the house so that we mitigate any risk of damaging anything around the property. Here's another photo right here showing some nets, a tarp, and a pull tarp all in one. And once we're tearing off the shingles, we get down to the felt paper. We have to remove the felt paper all the way down to the bare decking. And sometimes we find more than one layer of felt paper. Maybe the last roofer who did your roof left the old felt paper on your roof, and they put new paper over the old paper. Well, guess what? That voids your manufacturer warranty, and that is not the correct way to install a new roof. So we're going to go ahead and start from scratch and tear it all the way down to the decking. And we might find 2 layers. We might find 3 layers. We might find 4 or even 5 layers of underlayment, which we have found before. That just means that whoever has done the roof that many times prior has always been cutting corners and voiding your warranty, and that is not the right thing to do. So we tear it all the way down to the plywood. It's going to look something like this. Once we get everything torn off, you're going to see your job, your landscape like this may look just like this. So there's going to be a little bit of trash. There's going to be nails everywhere. There's going to be tarps. There's going to be walnuts. If any of this bothers you while you're in the house, just close the blinds. Don't look. It's normal. It's going to happen. And it's going to be just fine because I'm going to show you pictures of what it looks like when we're done. And it's going to be beautiful all over again. So don't worry about all this stuff. It's very, very normal. If a branch or a bush or a landscape light or something like that does get broken, don't you worry. We will make it right if you allow us, okay? That is our promise to you. Now, we're going to show some pictures of some rotted wood. We're going to replace up to 3 full sheets of rotted plywood on the house at no additional cost to you. Any sheet beyond that, we have a price. And your salesperson will go over that price with you accordingly. So we've got some rotted wood here on this back section. We've got some rotted wood along the eaves. We're going to replace it. We're either going to tear off the entire piece or we're going to cut sections of that piece all the way back to the rafters, put on a new piece so that it is structurally sound to where we can walk on it. Okay? Brand new piece of plywood for any rot. Now, once we've got all the rotted wood replaced, the decking inspected, okay, this guy right here, look at him, he's going inspecting the deck, make sure there's no loose nails, anything sticking out of the plywood, so that we prevent any penetrations from any nails or staples once we start installing the new roof. So we go ahead, blow everything off, make sure everything is smooth and clean before we actually start building your new roofing system. Now, inside the home, here are some pain points that I felt that it was very, very beneficial to let you know true, real transparency on what you're gonna actually expect while you're inside the house during the tear-off phase. You're going to have loud noise, okay? You're gonna hear thump, thump, vroom, vroom, vibrations. It's gonna be not so fun. So you may wanna go plan a trip, go shopping with your girls, or if you're a golfer, you want to go play golfing with your golf buddies, go drive around town. Just get out of the house for at least half the day because the tear-off part is the loudest and it's the messiest, and it's not a great time to go walk outside. So go ahead and do something with your time, at least during the first half of the day, where you can go and alleviate yourself from this noise, okay? If you want to stay in there, great. Maybe get some headphones, or if it doesn't bother you, even better, all right? Now, this is a picture of a nail pop. You might have some very old sheetrock on your ceiling, from the 1980s or the 1990s, and the builder used nails, and they did not use screws. Now, sometimes through the vibration, you might have a little piece of sheetrock get vibrated loose right where there was a nail installed, okay? Sometimes this happens. All right, and that's part of the process. This is something that we cannot control, unfortunately, but I just want to let you know that this is a possibility. It does not happen hardly at all, but sometimes it can happen. So please know that if this happens, this is something that we cannot control. All right, now if you've got dogs or cats or any pets or anything like that, just know a lot of the dogs and pets get scared because of all this new noise that they've never heard before. It sounds like a big thunderstorm is at your house, and they might go hiding or something like that. So if you've got a really, really sensitive pet, you may want to board them up for the day and just prevent that from that trauma that they might be going through, because they don't understand it. They don't understand what I'm saying right now, but you do, and so you can handle it. So if your pets are really sensitive, you may want to have a friend watch them or go take them somewhere for the day, maybe go to a park or something like that, and just make them feel comfortable for that day. All right, this is a good representation of what it may look like once we're pretty much done tearing off the roof. You'll see a little piece of plywood over there behind the chimney that got replaced, and another piece of plywood that got replaced right by the guy in the orange shirt, right by the chimney as well, a couple places over there. This is not a fun time to walk outside. Look at all those shingles on the ground. You definitely don't want to step on those piles of shingles because they have nails through them. I don't want a nail going through your foot, so just let the guys tear off the roof. Once they have it all torn down, then they're going to start picking up all of the tarps, all of the main shingles, and they're going to pick up the majority of all the debris. All right? Now, after that happens, then you can go outside. You're able to walk out there. You can watch us work if you like. You can come and go as you please. But while you're actually coming and going, even while we're still working and we're done tearing off, we're still going to be putting on the new shingles and stuff like that. Just please be mindful when you step out of the house, if you need to leave, to just be aware before you just walk right out your front door, okay? All right, now most of the noise moving forward are gonna be from the nail gun, and they're gonna be from shingle bundles being placed around the roof. Now it's gonna sound sometimes like they're throwing them all the way up in the air and slamming them down on your roof, but that is not the case, I promise you. They're literally just dropping them from their knee to their waist and kind of just placing them around the roof, and sometimes it can sound a lot louder than what is really happening because of the echo through the attic and all of that stuff. So don't let it bother you. Just know that that is also normal, and it's only going to be most likely for one full day. Could go into a second day if you have a larger house, but it's going to be fine. We'll get through this, okay? Now, most of the larger debris will be picked up during this phase. There's still going to be little tiny stuff and nails throughout the yard until the very, very end. So don't worry about that. It's just part of the phase of the project. Now, once we install the new roofing system, we've got 6 different components, well, 7 really, and I'd like to go over all of those components with you so you know why we have to install these components and what a roofing system really is, because guys, it's really not just about shingles. It's so much more than just putting on new shingles, and you've really got to understand every single component that goes into the whole system, all right? The first thing is ice and water shield. You may have heard about this. It's an adhesive membrane, really, really adhesive and sticky on the bottom side, waterproof on the top side. This is not covered by the insurance in most cases. It's not a code down here in this part of Texas at all. This is what Ark Roofer actually provides as part of our standard for not only peace of mind for you as it serves as added protection in vulnerable areas, but it also provides the peace of mind for us as well. We definitely don't want you calling 6 months down the road with a leak. We want you calling because your neighbors or your friends or your family saw what a great job we did and gave you the peace of mind, and that's why you're calling, because you want to introduce us to one of your neighbors, friends, or family, okay? So ice and water shield, you've got all the valleys are going to get treated in this because that's where all the water channels down, and this can be a problematic area if you don't have this product. Any chimneys that you have or flashings around the house, we've got this adhesive membrane called ice and water. It's going to be all outfitted around these areas as well, because the metal tends to manipulate through the weather changes, through the seasons. And when metal is going to go and shift and expand and contract all year long, eventually it can pop out of place. All right, and the adhesive membrane cannot pop out of place, and that's why we outfit those areas for that extra protection and that extra peace of mind. All right, so we've got another photo of them almost done tearing off the left side, and we're doing the new side Ark Roofer's way. Much better. Any weird areas or dead valleys or just odd spaces that could be a problematic area, we're going to make sure we apply this product as well around those areas too. Any vents, any pipes, we're going to outfit every single penetration with this extra peace of mind to make sure that all these vulnerable areas don't have any leaks. All the pipes you can see here, before and after, can't even see it. It's awesome. All right, now once we apply all the ice and water shield on the entire roofing system, we can start putting on the underlayment. Now, instead of using the organic tar paper that I showed you when we tore it off, that stuff is not the best, okay? Now we're gonna upgrade your roofing system to a synthetic version of that felt paper, and it's called a synthetic roof underlayment. It almost has like this rubbery substance to it so that when our guys are working on it, they get a lot better traction, which means they can work a little bit faster and more efficient and do your roof better than most other companies that are providing you with the regular felt paper. It's a little bit more slick. So this is a much better product. It's synthetic underlayment, waterproof as well, and we're going to install this on the entire roof, overlapping all of the ice and water shield and all the valleys that we talked about, and this is what your roof is going to look like right before we start adding shingles and components. Now, next thing is the flashings, the drip edge. So when we install drip edge is a metal piece of flashing. It goes under the roof 2 inches, and it hangs over the wood fascia approximately 2 inches, and it prevents wind-driven rain from actually blowing in under the edges where the roof hangs over the walls, and it prevents that wood from getting rotted out from wind-driven rain, okay? So you could say he's installing it now. The homeowner wanted to try to match the color of his fascia, so we did. We powder coated it to match the color of the fascia, and then when they are actually done installing it, you can see the underlayment is actually overlapping the drip edge on the eaves, and this is where the gutters would go as well. And now on the gable ends, you can see the actual underlayment is tucked underneath that 2-inch piece of flashing, and it's because wind-driven rain, if it were to get in there, it would go shed off the roof even if it got under the shingles, and that's, not likely to even happen. But we always take the best precaution and install per manufacturer requirements so we don't void any warranties and do everything properly, okay? So this is what drip edge is gonna look like after the roof is done. If you've got a brown roof, we're gonna give you brown drip edge. If you've got a gray roof, we're gonna give you gray drip edge. It's gonna be powder coated to match the color of your roof, so it looks beautiful, so it looks more custom and more luxury. Next product, starter strip shingle. This shingle is the first course that gets installed around the entire perimeter of the entire house, and it locks in the whole roofing system to prevent wind from uplifting any shingles around the perimeter of the home. You can see here on the very, very edge, there's a thick bead of tar, and when that tar bonds to the actual shingles, then it locks in the whole system, and it ain't coming up. So I'd like to pause here really quick because you see the big name Owens Corning. Owens Corning invented the fiberglass shingle in the late 30s, and that's why we partnered with them, because they not only invented the fiberglass shingle, but they also are manufactured here in Texas, and they have the best customer service and some of the best warranties available in this market. So we partnered up with Owens Corning. We are actually a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, on top of us being a fully licensed contractor for the Roofing Contractors Association of Texas, which means we're fully insured. We're backed by super big vendors and corporations. We're a debt-free company and all this good stuff. You've got to go through all these hoops and go through all these classes, pass all these tests and exams, and prove all this credibility in order to be licensed here in Texas. So we did all that, and we partnered with Owens Corning. Now, if I sell you a beautiful, nice shingle by Owens Corning, and I install the underlayment, the starter strip, the ice and water, and all that stuff is in a cheaper brand, well, guess what? I just voided your manufacturer warranty. Another way that I can void your manufacturer warranty is by cutting corners and installing cheaper branded items underneath those nice, expensive shingles. And we're not going to do that. We make sure that if we sell you an Owens Corning product, that every single component is going to be in the same exact brand. Okay, so there's no excuse and no reason why your warranty would ever be voided, because we also document and we can prove that we installed everything just like we're telling you that we will install it. So everything will be documented through that link we already sent you through Company Cam. It's going to show you all the inspection photos. It's going to show you construction photos. It's going to show you final photos once we do the final walkthrough and do the final inspection and all this good stuff. So now, the starter strip. once it bonds, it's not going to be able to separate like this. Once it actually bonds, give it a couple weeks, this stuff will not be able to separate from the actual shingle, and it's going to be super tight. You can also see the black drip edge here because this shingle actually had a lot of black color in it, and that's what the homeowner wanted. All right. Now, after we get all that stuff done, we're going to start installing the components, the pipes, the shingles, and the actual ridge cap. And you're looking dead center at a hip of a roof that goes all the way up to the top and forms a ridge horizontally at the very top. And that hip and the ridge has to be capped off with a ridge cap shingle. Now in this photo here, this is standard, okay? You've got your architectural shingle that's rated for 110 to 130 mile an hour winds. And then you've got your standard ridge cap shingle that is only 60 mile an hour winds. Now this standard ridge cap shingle is actually a 3-tab shingle that is designed to lay flat. And most builders will install this, which also means that if you get insurance to pay to replace a new roof, they will only pay to replace what you have. So most of my clients are actually getting a roof just like this at a base level. Okay, you may be a little bit different, but most people have the architectural shingle with the 3-tab shingle cut to form a ridge cap, and these ridge caps are only designed for 60 mile an hour winds, and they're not designed to bend. They're designed to lay flat, so they're not going to last very long. They might blow off, they might get creased and start breaking, and they're going to wear out a lot faster. So in my professional opinion, I would go ahead and get a ridge cap that is actually formulated to bend so that it will last just as long as the shingles, and it'll have the same wind warranty. So here we go. Let me show you. We've got a picture here. This is a 110 mile an hour rated ridge cap shingle. You can see it matches the actual field shingles a lot better and has that deep shadow line on it. Okay, looks a lot more luxury, and it looks a lot more designer grade, and it just fits better. So if I were you, I would spend a little bit of your extra money to actually outfit your roof with these ridge caps that are actually designed to bend. Okay, here's a brown roof. You've got brown ridge cap. Now this ridge cap is called Pro Edge. It's rated for 110 mile an hour winds. It's got the shadow line. It looks nice. All right, here's another photo showing you a little bit different perspective. Or if you want a little bit more pop, a little bit more pronounced, a little bit thicker, like this is called Riser Ridge. This is a little bit more expensive, and this is rated for 130 mile an hour versus the 110 mile an hour, okay? This creates a bull nose at one side, and that's where it gets that higher profile, and it's also a thicker shingle. They almost have the same wind warranty. Anything over 100 mile an hour wind is great in this region. I know we have 60, 70 mile an hour winds throughout the year, every single year. So if you've got either one of these, you're protected. One is going to be a little bit different aesthetically than the other, and that is just going to be your personal preference. But just know that this thicker ridge cap shingle is a little bit more expensive than the Pro Edge ridge cap shingle, okay? Now, next thing is, you've got a vent and you've got a pipe, and the standard way of installing all of these is with nails, and then we caulk and seal the tops of the nail heads, and we seal the sides of the flashings to make sure that you have peace of mind to where water is not going to get through there. However, every single year, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, some of these nails can start to back out, and your roof requires routine maintenance. Every 1 to 2 years, you should have it routine maintenance. Typically, we charge around $1,200, $1,300 for a full roof tune-up, where we maintenance the entire roof and go around and seal all the exposed nails, seal all the flashings, put new fasteners where needed, and all that good stuff. For repeat clients, if you were to get a full roof replaced, you can ask your sales rep what you would be charged as a repeat client to do a routine maintenance, or you can spend a couple $100 extra, and instead of using the nails and sealing the top of the nail heads like this, you can actually install grommet screws. So for a couple $100 extra, I highly recommend installing grommet screws on all the pipes, all the vents, and all the flashings around your entire roof. Those don't need to be sealed because they have a rubber gasket, and they're screws. They're not nails, so they're going to bite that wood and they're not going to let go. So I would say these would last at least 7 years or so, and probably need to be replaced every 10 years for the most part. So much, much better, way less frequency on maintenance, and gives you just so much more peace of mind. Spend the extra couple $100, whatever it is, $200-$300 for your entire roof, and you will be much happier, okay? Now, looking at this big bad boy, this is a big old solar fan going on top of a roof. We are going to talk about ventilation, what you currently have and the expectations, and we're going to go over what options are out there. So if you please give me just 1 second, I'm going to take a little drink. Okay, so your current ventilation, you may have box vents, you may have ridge vents. You probably, if you have a builder grade roof, you definitely don't have an active fan on your roof. You probably have a passive ventilation. So we can go and show you the photos of the top of your roof to see what you have. And if you have a passive ventilation and you live anywhere within 3 hours of Austin, Texas, you know it gets around 100 degrees outside during the summer, and if it's 100 degrees outside, it's probably at least 150 degrees inside your attic. All right, so we're going to talk about that. Now, this house right here had a passive round plastic vent on their roof, on the main area, and we replaced it with a solar fan, okay? And the solar fan by Attic Breeze actually reduced their attic by over 40 degrees. And the benefit of that is these shingles are going to last longer. They're not going to get as hot and brittle. And the next time it hails on this roof, it's going to be a lot more resilient. And it's going to take a lot bigger hail to actually damage it because of the fan making the shingle so much cooler. What is it going to do with your AC unit? Your AC unit's not going to have to work as hard. What does that mean? Well, that means that your AC unit's going to last longer and your energy costs are going to be reduced. Some people save $20, $30, even $40 a month on their energy bill. So if you spend money on one of these solar fans, you not only drop your month after month, year after year energy bills, but because it's solar powered, you actually get a 30% tax rebate at the end of the year. This is for 2023, and I think it's going to be all the way until 2028. So keep that in mind. Typical ROI on one of these fans is about 3 years. So if you're going to live in the house for at least 3 years or longer, please do yourself a favor, buy one of these. It is a very, very wise investment for your home, okay? Now, these are powder coated to match the color of your shingles. Just like a metal roof is, they're going to last forever. They got a 25-year fade warranty, chip warranty, chalk warranty. They've got a lifetime warranty for the unit itself. So in 15 years, if you got a bearing or something that goes out or the motor goes out or something like that, just call us and we will make it right. Okay? You've got a lifetime warranty that does not depreciate for a full 50 years, all right? Now, these are also smart fans. These fans have a fire sensor in them, so if you have a house fire, the fan is actually going to stop spinning so it does not continue to fuel that fire. It is pretty awesome. It has a temperature reader in there, and it works at variable speeds. So it's not going to go full blast all the time, but it will go full blast in the middle of the day when you need it the most. And then once the sun goes down, it's going to start slowing down. And then once the heat is all out of the attic, it's going to probably end up stopping and turn into a passive system. What you don't want is when all the heat and the moisture gets out of the attic, you don't want a fan that keeps spinning on full blast, because if that's the case, it could actually start sucking in extra moisture from the inside of your home, through the can lights and through the vents in your ceilings, and that's something you don't want. So you do want a smart fan. You want it to know when to slow down and when to speed up when you need it the most. Speaking of moisture, it has the option of purchasing an additional moisture sensor that you can actually plug into the unit. It comes with a little radio frequency wireless remote you can put in your nightstand, and you can actually see the readings on what the moisture levels in your attic are, if the unit's working, how fast it's going, and all of that good stuff. So if you would want to read the moisture level, you're going to have to spend a little bit extra money and purchase the actual moisture sensor. Otherwise, it's just going to come standard with the fire sensor and the temperature sensor. Okay? Lifetime warranty, definitely the best investment you can do on your home if you're going to be there for at least 3 years. Okay? All right. This just kind of goes and reiterates what I just said. Actively removes hot attic air, lowers cooling costs, insulation works better, AC runs better, shingles last longer. It works the hardest when you need it the most, and it removes moisture and humidity all day long. So again, just get one of these fans. Do yourself a favor. All right. You may have ridge vent, or you may want ridge vent. You may have some box vents, and you want to turn your house into ridge vent and take those box vents out. I don't know. But if you do have ridge vent installed, we're going to make sure that you've got 1 to 2 inches cut on each side of the center beam and topped off with a plastic vent for the heat and moisture to escape out of that vent. And it's going to be topped off with those ridge cap shingles we talked about earlier, which camouflages that vent in place so you really don't see it. And a lot of people like that. A lot of people like that you really can't see the ventilation because they don't like things sticking out of their roof. And that's okay too. This works well with steeper applications. And it works well. Longer the ridge, the better they work. So keep that in mind as well. Not everybody is really good fit for ridge vent. So ask your sales consultant to educate you to make sure if this is what you want, to make sure it makes sense, okay? All right, we've got turbine vents. You can see these are 12-inch turbine vents that are externally braced. You can see the braces on the outside, all right? We've got a price for these. Or you can get the 14-inch internally braced. These are a little bit more expensive, and they have a larger square inch footprint for the venting aspect of it. And these are great. I mean, if you live out in the country and your HOA will allow it, man, it doesn't take much wind for these to start spinning really, really fast. So these are a lot cheaper than those solar attic fans. And when the wind is, going pretty good, and these are spinning really, really fast, it's almost like you have an active fan on your roof. So these are really cool. Not everybody likes them. So if you want to find out what this would do for your roof, just ask your sales consultant, and we'll make sure to let you know what those numbers look like, okay? All right, but again, just know that the solar fans are the best, and they will save you a lot of money in the long run, all right, and make your roof last a lot longer. Okay, so finishing up, next phase, we're going to talk about the finishing up process where our guys are going to start finishing up the roof, then they're cleaning up and so forth. So as we show you this picture of the guys finishing up your job, I'd like to take the time to introduce you to a couple of these guys that work for us. Most of these guys that are going to be on your house have been with Ark Roofer every single day, 5 to 6 days a week, for over 5 years straight. They're like family to us. They are very loyal, and we all get along great, and we love, love, love the guys that we have. We are so blessed to have the crews and have the loyalty and the friendship that we have today. So thank you guys also for trusting us with the people that we're going to have on your home. So I'd like to take just a moment, show you a couple of our guys. The guy on the very, very right, his name is Nino. He's our left-handed nailer, and he is also one of our top guys that runs the crew if the main crew leader, Abraham, is not there. And the main crew leader, Abraham, is actually standing next to him in the orange hat with the red shoes. Abraham is, he's like my brother. He's family for sure. So he runs the main crews, and Nino is his backup in case he's not there, and then you got the other guys in the background. So all of our guys are professionally trained. We definitely do audits on every single one of them to make sure that they are competent. This guy right here, his name's Chapin. He's one of the fastest nailers I've ever seen in my life. He is really, really, really good. Then we've got a couple other guys here doing some flashing detail, doing some custom work. This is Chewy. Chewy's been with us for all 5 years as well. He's such a great guy, loves his job, loves what he does. And you know what? That's what we love. We love people who love what they do. And it just makes the whole job go a lot smoother. Here's Nino again, working away. Here's Umberto. And I just want to take the chance right here to just say that our guys love what they do, and they love to have fun. They love to laugh while they're working. If they want to listen to a little bit of music, let them listen to some music. Let them laugh. Let them have some fun. Because the more fun that they have on your roof, the better job they're going to do, because they enjoy doing it, and they're so passionate about what they're prideful of, and they really, really love the accomplishment of putting together these amazing roofs, because they work for Ark Roofer. Ark Roofer has some of the highest standards in this entire country when it comes to building a roof, and these guys really, really appreciate that, so they love what they do. If you go outside and they're doing something that makes you uncomfortable, or you feel like they're making too much noise, don't yell at them. Don't try to upset them. You don't want to make these guys upset, because then they're not going to have fun on your job. And then they're not going to do as good as if they were having a really good, fun time. So if you have any issues with these guys, please let your sales consultant know directly, and we'll take care of it, okay? Otherwise, let these guys have fun. Let them do what they do every single day. It's just for one day, maybe 2 days at the most. It'll be okay. You'll get over it. And we like to make things fun and easy. So let's go ahead and make things fun and easy. All right? All right. So they're going to get done with everything. They're going to inspect the roof one last time after they're done, make sure everything looks good, installed properly. They're going to get the blower. They're going to blow off any loose debris or nails or any dust or anything like that. And when they're done, you might have some leftover materials. We're going to put it outside your house, on your driveway, or on the side of your house somewhere. Okay, you might have some extra sheets of plywood or some extra pieces of flashing or something like that. Just know this material is Ark Roofers. We always order extra material because you never know. We might pull open a bad bundle and we might have to throw it away. Or we might have a lot of different waste, and there's no guaranteed measurement tool that tells us exactly how much we're going to use for the job. So we always order a little bit extra just in case, because we don't want to run out of materials and then have an hour or 2 hour delay on going and getting them. And so we want to make sure we're fully prepared, because when you prepare and you come prepared, you can make things fun and easy. And that's our goal, is to make things fun and easy and as seamless for you as possible. All right? Now, final inspection. Within 48 hours of finishing the roof, our QA guy is going to arrive for a second cleanup. So within 48 hours, if you see some trash left behind or some nails, don't get mad yet. Just wait, because within 48 hours, either the next day or the day after, depending on how busy we are or if there's rain or anything like that, one of our QA guys is going to come over with his separate magnet, going to go around the house a second time, clean as best as he can, and make sure that we left your yard and your home spotless and better than we found it. And then after that, he's going to take a picture of what he found. If this is all that he finds after the roofers get done cleaning up, that means the roofers actually did a really great job at cleaning up, because there's thousands of staples and thousands of nails. So if they only find a handful, that's actually a really good thing. So keep that in mind. Now, through about 6 months, you might find a couple nails here and there. It's almost impossible to get 100% of the nails. So out of 3, 4, 5,000 nails, if you find 1 or 2 once every other month or something like that, that's okay. Sometimes they just pop out of weird hiding places under rocks or pebbles or anything like that. But for the most part, 99% of the time, we're going to get everything picked up and everything clean so that you can walk around barefoot, all right? Now, they're going to get up on the roof after they clean. They're going to pull out their inspection checklist and start checking things off, making sure everything was installed correctly. They're going to document everything with photos, and you're going to see these photos too. Remember, like we talked about earlier, while we document the inspection and the construction phase, we're also going to document the final process and the final product and how everything was installed. You might see me, you might see our sales consultant, or you might see the QA guy doing the final cleanup. He's also probably going to bring a drone. He might look like he's just standing around doing nothing, holding a big remote. It's because he's actually flying a drone over your house to make sure he gets some really cool photos. He's going to add to that link so you have some really cool photos to look at, or something like that. So it's okay. He might do a little drone show, drone photos, so you can go out there and watch him do that if you'd like. Now, we may actually need to get back in the attic, okay? Safety is our number one concern, and we want to make sure everything was installed properly because that is our responsibility. So if there's a hot gas furnace pipe like this right here, we want to make sure that it's not touching the plywood because that's a fire hazard. They do get hot. They've got to be at least 2 inches away from the plywood. We're going to center it like this and make sure it's properly fastened. And again, this one has never been strapped by an HVAC company. So you would actually be responsible to go ahead and take care of that and call an HVAC guy out there to properly strap these in place so they don't move around. Now, if we are the ones who broke the straps, then we would actually pay for that. But if it wasn't there in the first place, that is not Ark Roofer's responsibility, and we will do our best to make you aware of that, okay? Now, make sure all the straps that are there are still there the way that we found them. You've got a water heater possibly in your attic as well, and we want to make sure it's properly aligned at the actual water heater itself. Now, if that pipe ever gets knocked loose by 1 or 2 inches and it kind of gets knocked off track, that means carbon monoxide could be flowing into your attic, and that is not a very good thing. That is very scary. So that would be a red flag. It is our responsibility to make sure all of these pipes are always directly connected to the actual water heater so that you don't have to worry about any concerns in your attic. So safety, safety, safety is our number one top priority for you and your family. All right, then we're gonna walk around the house. This is me, I'm Luke Sikora. This is one of my clients. I walked around the house with him after the roofers left the day after, did my final cleanup, did my final inspection, went in the attic, make sure everything was looked good. And then I knocked on the door. Then I walked around with this client. We walked around his house to make sure he was happy, to make sure he also saw what I caught on the punch list. There was maybe one thing on the side of his wall where a shingle touched the side of his wall and created a little black tar mark or something. Well, I wrote it down. I'm going to have my painters come and get that removed. After he confirms with me that my punch list is accurate or everything is good, then we're going to make sure to get that taken care of, okay? And then we're going to be done with the job. This is what it's going to look like possibly when they're cleaning up, doing the final inspection. Here's a couple photos just to show how clean we leave the job after it's completed. If you've got a pool, if you've got bushes, we're going to make everything look right again. And then when we're all done, we're done with our punch list. We're done with the cleanup. The inspection was solid. Everything's documented. Everything looks good. I want you to be like this lady. Hook 'em horns. She's super happy. We did a fantastic job, got everything taken care of, and this is how I expect every single one of you to be in the very end. Now, we may go through some pain points. We may have some issues time to time. If you allow us, we will make it right, and once we make it right, we really want you to be fully satisfied, just like this lady client of ours out here in Georgetown, Texas. And so that's the final expectation that we have for you. Now, what's next? Well, I don't know. Depends if you have other trades. You might have gutters being installed after the roof. Typically, it happens within a week after the roof gets installed. You may have some windows. You may have siding or paint or anything like that. We do a lot of exterior trades. Just to name a few: roof, gutters, solar, windows, siding, paint. Okay, we do some other cool things too. If you want to ask our sales consultant about it, we can let you know. All right, what's next after that? Well, if you have an insurance job and insurance paid out on a claim where you have to at least pay your deductible plus any upgrades, well, we might be supplementing. Remember that felt paper that we saw, 2 or 3 layers? Well, we're going to call the insurance and send them all the pictures and documentation showing them and make sure that they pay extra for that extra work that we actually did. And as long as they approve it and we did the work, that extra money would go to Ark Roofer. So insurance supplementing and invoicing, just know this can cause delays. Could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be a month. Sometimes these adjusters, the high turnover rate with these adjusters, sometimes the guy that originally was working on your file, he's not there anymore. And then they assign somebody new, and we got to start all over again. And sometimes it's no fun. But you know what? We do all that for you. We try to take that off your shoulders so you don't have to worry about it. But sometimes you do have to wait, and sometimes we do have delays. And we really, really apologize about that up front. But just know, sometimes we can't control that, and we really do try our best to make it go as fast as possible for you. And then once we get all the supplementing done, we're going to send the insurance photos of your roof showing all the work was done, sending in the final invoice so that you can get the final check, which is the depreciation check. And this can cause additional delays, usually not as long as the other one, but this could be 1 to 2 weeks additional delay for them releasing the final check into your hands. Because as soon as you get that final check in your hands, that's when we get paid. So we have to wait on that final check for us to get paid to close out the job. And then when we collect the final payment, right up front, just like when we collected the first payment, you can either pay by check or you can pay through ACH, which is an online free convenience tool for you to do. Or if you really, really want to use a credit card, we do have a credit card charge, a percentage for that, but you can ask your rep to go over those fees with you and what those are. Most people just do a check or an ACH. And then after we get paid in full, then we can register your warranty. We can do a standard warranty that comes with it, which is a limited lifetime warranty with a 5-year on labor, or a platinum warranty. Now, I did mention in the beginning, we are a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning. So please ask your sales consultant to go over what the difference is between the standard warranty and the platinum preferred warranty. It's a pretty big deal, and it's usually under $1,000 for the warranty. You know, sometimes you go to Best Buy and you have a $1,000 or $1,200 TV, and the actual extended warranty is like 50% of what the TV cost, and most people buy it because of the peace of mind. Well, most people here in the roofing industry have a $20,000 to $30,000 roof, and if you're spending less than $1,000 for the extended platinum warranty, which is the best warranty that you can get, it is definitely worth it. And if you're going to be in the house for more than 5 years, I'd highly recommend asking your sales consultant about the platinum preferred Owens Corning extended warranty. All right. So after the warranty is registered, then we can close out the claim and your file, and then we'll send you some reminder emails to make sure to call your insurance company, tell them that you have a new roof so that you can get, hopefully, a new roof discount on your new premium. All right? How cool is that? So not only are we going to help you try to lower your energy bill and lengthen the lifespan of your shingle, but we're also going to remind you to make sure to see if you can get a better discount and a better rate on your premiums for your home insurance in the future. All right? So that's what's going to happen. And this is me. This is my family. We started this company in 2018. I'm a third-generation contractor. I worked for my dad ever since I was a little kid, ever since I can remember painting houses and doing inside remodels and some outside work, but we didn't do roofs. I actually started this roofing trade and roofing industry by myself back in 2018, and have my wife as my biggest support. And if it wasn't for her, I don't know how I would have done this without her. I'm so blessed to have such a supportive wife, and my girls and my family are so amazing to me, and I'm so proud of the company that I've created. And my main goal is to protect you from the storm and to make sure to give you the best experience possible with the most reliable and most competent professional roofing company out there. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today and spending so much of your valuable time listening to me ramble. I hope this all makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please let us know, and we appreciate the opportunity to serve you. God bless.